Are you able to listen to me, Prayut?
Yes.
Yeah. So, good evening to all. This is Prasad Nazare from Kolhapur. I'm serving as a quality engineer for cast iron as well as a Asian foundry at Anita Instrument Kolhapur. So, Prayut, is it okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So, first of all, I would like to thank the Dynamic Foundry Group and a team for providing us this platform to share our views at this stage, at this age also. Today, I would like to emphasize more on a systems in a foundry as well as certain process control parameters. So here, the foundry, the field of a proud. Being a Kolhapurian is one of the prominent foundry hub in India. So I am proud that I am a part of it. You go to the foundry, there are always challenges, opportunities, and one of the greatest thing is the disaster are always waiting for you. It has basically the realistic approach rather than some assumptions like the IT and the software industry. There is basically very versatile field as a foundry because we can't implant parameters from one foundry to another, even though the manufacturing product, machine, and the processes are the same for the two foundries. It is one of the field in a world which has capability to nurture the people from the school level qualification to the PhD level. So this is the great. Next, please. Yeah, we have our strength as an Indian that India is the second largest casting manufacturer in the world, and this should be proud for all of us. Everybody from the world are starving for the Indian market, so we have a strength as a domestic market, as well as we have the opportunity for the international market. We have greater geographical as well as all manpower and other resources in India. This pandemic has created one of the greatest vacancy in all over the world. So it should be the opportunity for all of us. Next, Prayut. Yeah. Being a quality manager, I would like to start with the IMS, the Integrated Management System. System is a thing which provides a flawless binding among all the departments. But is it a requirement of a customer or a ladder for new business? The intention should be very clear for the standardization. Basically, we found that certificate is for the customer approval or the ladder of a business. But if we have actually implemented this system in a foundry, then even the 5 years methodology has that much of a power for the revenue generation as well as to improve the work standard of a people working in a foundry. So I think it should be the culture of an organization, then only it can be the path of a continuous improvement. Quality, a very rigorous department in a foundry, but our attitude towards the quality department can be the two types. We can say it as a no revenue generation department, or we can say it as a department which decide the profit margin. How? It can be the quality assurance, a process based proactive approach. I would like to add one of my experience that in last year we were using the magnesium with the 1.2% for the SGIN foundry. Later on, we have done some studies and all the suggestions from our respected consultants. Later on, we have decided to reduce that magnesium content with some modification in a ladle, reducing the magnesium percentage and the content, reducing the pouring temperature by 20 degrees Celsius, and most of the thing is awareing the pouring people for the timeliness. Summing of these all, we have reduced 0.2% of a magnesium per hit. So for 500 kgs of a furnace producing 300 tons per month, we able to save 1 ton of a magnesium per month. So this is huge. After that, as a rule of a SPC, we validate it with 30 numbers of a heat at a different operator at a different time. So that is the power of a standardization and the saving from the quality department. Yeah, next please. there is a greatest thing in a foundry as a processes. The process is an aid of a 5M, man, machine, material, method, and one of the key thing is a money. There are a lot of parameters affecting simultaneously on a process. So if we go in a foundry, if weather also get changed, process parameter differs. But for the product based approach, we have to have sustained the sand parameters in a December winter at a 4 a.m. as well as in a May summer at a 12 noon. So sustaining that parameters is a challenging thing. These are the definitions of a calibration, verification, and standardization from the standard. But especially, I found process validation as a key approach in a foundry process. I thought that it is the research and development field in a foundry because knowing the process will lead to definitely the improvement. Choosing the process parameter for a typical process through the scatter diagram is a challenging thing. I would like to share my another experience with the operating limits. Once in audit, we had NC for a 5 degrees Celsius greater temperature than the specified temperature. So even the auditor knows that it could not affect the product life, but the NC is a NC. That day we come to know the value of setting the limits. There are type of a limit. One is a specified limit and another is an operating limit. Specified limits are which out of which the product gets fail, and second is the operating limit which has narrower yet feasible band with value. So deciding the specified limits is a task of a process validation. If we have honestly settled down the process validation, then the process audit remains a simply task of the verification only. Next, Prayu. Yeah, the advanced product quality planning. We all know about the EPQP. I will not go to the depth, but while I'm working with the development department, I come to know the two basic things that is required for the EPQP. One is understanding the customer specific requirement. We don't have any control about the CSR, but another thing is understanding process capabilities or a plant capabilities. Usually it is stated as a design manual. It states what a plant or a equipment or a process can do for us and what it can't do for us. So understanding our plant and understanding our process will definitely help us in a new product development or in a APQP. If we strengthen our these two skills, then the technical feasibility, manufacturing feasibility, and commercial viability will look just like a check sheet for us. There are different type of a core tool that we all know, but we have the tools, we have to decide how to use it. Yeah, this is generic snap of a FMEA. Usually, foundry people only know about the machining operations and machine shop concern. But if a foundryman or a FMEA person could come to know what is the OEM assembly, what is the end usage of that product, then it can add definitely the realistic value in a FMEA. Control preventing parameters should be focused rather than the detection parameters. Yeah, next. So the new era has been emerged with the VDA AIG FMEA. What happened actually? We are currently using the fourth edition of the AIG FMEA, which is US based. Europe always used with the VDA. So the vendors which are supplying the parts for US and Europe are just get confused. So these both standards come at a single platform and develop VDA AIG FMEA. It has a marvelous 7-step approach, among which a structure analysis is one of the key things. For any of the process, there is an input, actual process, and the output. If the input process function get deteriorates, it will give us a cause of a failure. If the actual process function get deteriorates, it will give a failure mode. And if the process output function get deteriorates, it will gives us effect of a failure. Previously, we were working with the RPN, that is a risk priority number, but we can't control, as a process engineer, we can't control the severity of the process because it is a part of a design engineer. So even RPN value get high, we have to take the action. But here in a VDA AIG FMEA, they have 1000 numbers of iteration, which can be stated as an action priority table. So the action priority table itself telling us whether to take the action is necessary or whether to not. So that is the beauty of new FMEA. Next, OSHAs and EMS. There is a lot to talk on OSHAs and EMS in a Foundry. Here is a snap of from the IT industry. I know we can't go at that much of the OSHAs and EMS, but how much we care for the health of a Foundryman is one of the greatest tasks. We have to implement technology and technical know-how to implement the OSHAs and EMS. Because see, revenue generation is a thing, but revenue generation can be done with the efficiency and effectiveness of a work also. In I think 1 week before, I come to know one of about the cold box machine. We use the cold box machine for making the core. So I come to know that there is attachment that is coming with a cold box machine, which can suck the amine gas at the table and dilute it with the phosphoric acid tank, as amine gas is dangerous to the health of the foundryman. So very few of the Indian manufacturer are considering this attachment, and even the foundry person don't know about that this kind of attachment is available in a market. So that could be emphasized more. Yeah. Then with the industry 4.0, the world of digitalization begins. In the last month in a COVID pandemic, we have to done one e-PPAP approval, because you all know that PPAP approval one of the stringent tasks. For one of our OEM customer, we have carried in a May the e-PPAP approval. It was a marvelous experience. There can be a camera setting. Everything has some pros and cons, but we have to develop this kind of a thing for our improvement. E-learning, we are going with the webinars, I think, from a DFG from March 2020. Almost 40 plus webinars has been conducted. So continuously bombarding of this foundry knowledge at this huge level can add more value in our career, definitely. So this is a rule of a Kaizen. Simple and small steps can empower the people as well as the foundry. Yeah. One of the key things is the effective usage of a ERP, enterprise resource planning. Usually we are using the ERP for a production, material and a dispatch accounting. We rather used as a just accounting tool, but it has a certain more value as a quality and saving tool. Usually with the data, we do four things: acquisition of a data, formatting of a data, analysis and interpretation of a data, and action of a data. If we look actually on a shop floor, we come to know that acquisition of a data and formatting of a data takes almost 75% of a time of the manager and all the people. But analysis and action are just contributing 25% of a time. So these waste can be reduced: waste of a data handling, waste of a time, waste of unnecessary work, and waste of energy. For that, we can implement Windows to Android interface. We can provide the e-gadgets at the shop floor. This is the demand of a time, and we have to have used it because it can be definitely save a lot. Yeah. Coming to the opportunities for the startup India, we all know there is a large automotive sector, but sectors like construction equipment, hydraulics should be developed. With the development of an electric vehicle, we have to move certain steps for the non-ferrous casting, and being a part manufacturer foundry, we have to think over the assembly manufacturing. Yeah. To overcome these kind of a challenges, we have to move towards global to local. According to me, there can be three challenges. First one is the infrastructure. Building a new structure costs a lot. We all know about that. It is a decision of a management. But we have to learn, or we have to emphasize more on efficient utilization of a current infrastructure. At our foundry, we have started the project two different parts on a single match plate. So knowledge for this efficient utilization is now a starving for a youngsters. Another thing is a technology. Adopting a new technology is always a key source. But before this era, we were only searching for the effectiveness of a technology. But as a cost, we getting the sales efficiency also plays an important role. Transformation from the traditional layout through the 3D scanning as well as simulation schemes is also a technological development. Usually for a management, there are business strategies, market strategies, revenue generation strategies, but there should be a employee improvement strategies. Yeah, employee empowerment is one of the key source for the development. Once a wiser foundryman has suggested me that, see, there is nobody wants to fail. So if one get a chance to learn, to implement and to make the change, it could definitely add the value for the organization as well as empowering the people. Everyone is starving for a new thing. From step of an Android application to empowering the people is one of the greater thing which I thought. If we want a global business, then we have to adopt the global technology and the culture. So providing a chance to the employees is key thing to empowering them. These are the traditional departments which we are already working through in a foundry, from a molding to the pattern shop, lab, and a priming. But if we want something new, if we want something more, we have to think out of the box. There can be a value engineering department which can only work for reducing the waste. There can be application engineering department which can be work as a bridge between a shop floor to the IT or other electronic solutions. Process engineering, QMS engineering has their own values. We have to think this type of a streams for the development of a foundry. Yeah. Yeah, this is Ikigai, a Japanese technology, which stated that we can't control what people love, what people are good at. But if we give him a mission, a world class mission, and pay off, then he will definitely pour himself more than anything. So that is the key thing of handling a people, and so the foundryman. So at the dynamic foundry group, I would like to say that we have the expert, we have the youth energy, have the platform. So together we can definitely prosper our country, because कोई भी देश बेहतर नहीं होता, उसे बेहतर बनाना पड़ता है. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prasad.
Yeah,
So all the questions answered, we will keep it at the last after presentation of all the panelists,
yeah,
so that we can have a kind of a group discussion and all these things. So next we have the presentation on the quality by Mr. T. Karthik.